Hey, as an affiliate marketer or an entrepreneur, working for yourself can be a great feeling. But as with anything, this brings with it its own pluses and minuses. And it's, like I said, it's great to be your own boss. But if you don't check or have these balances in place to keep you honest or ways of tracking your results, you're going to fail as a business owner. And I've been doing this for quite some time, and I've come to realize that running an online business is very little to do with your level of intelligence. What's more important is your ability to stay focused and keep in track of your daily activities. And what I mean by activities, I'm talking about trying to keep track or stats of what you're doing and actually writing them down and having them stare you in the face, these results, okay? Not what you think you're doing. Too often I come across people claiming that they keep these stats in their head. And despite their best intentions, and I myself, and we are all victims of this, keeping records in your head does not count, because we all know what you think you are doing and what you're actually doing are often two different things. So, what do I mean by knowing your numbers? Look, if you're going to do this full time, you need to have consistent results. You cannot come into this making X dollars month one, $0 month two, and think this is going to work, especially if you have bills to pay. It's not going to be long before you're out on the streets looking for other ways to make additional income. So, but before I'm going into an example, I want, with me sharing you what I do at the beginning of the each month, what I wanted to do was and is to have you starting today, regardless of where you are at. Let's put together some sort of process. It may not be complete, but it's going to get you started somewhere. And my feeling is a bad plan is better than no plan. So, step one, we're going to make a list of each activity that you feel contributes to your sales process. If you're not sure what your sales process is, go out, ask your mentor, reach out to myself, or maybe possibly somebody in the group. You can also refer. I did a previous video on how to improve as a marketer, your weakless link. There's some information in there that can help you. Two, evaluate your performance in each of the categories you listed. Which area do you feel you are doing exceptionally well in? But on the same note, what areas are you not performing satisfactorily in? Okay, step three, of these categories you have listed, if you could focus on one specific category, which one would have the greatest impact on your sales? And I would say more than likely it's going to be that category that you are devoting the least amount of attention to. And so, therefore, you have to understand why you're doing this. Why is this happening? And it could be maybe you're missing the step entirely, you're not aware of it. Maybe you don't know how to implement it or conceptualize it. But whatever this is, what's ever holding you back, you need to go out, learn, and improve on that weakness. As I've said time and again, this is not going to be easy. Nothing worth doing comes with very little sacrifice. So, as I mentioned, I would share with you what I do as an example, at the start of each month. Now, when you're making this data stuff, you can make it as complex as you want. But for myself, I'm looking to make X amount of dollars. So we're using a Google spreadsheet. You could use Excel. I would just avoid using pen and paper, because after a while you're going to have sheets of paper all over the place. It's going to become a mess and a distraction. And the last thing you need is more distractions. So which ends up with you basically doing nothing and defeating today's exercise. So, and also the advantage of using this type of software, you can set things up to do all these calculations as you go, which is going to become very useful for you in the future when you try to break data down. And I'll get into more specifics at another time, but let's say for email deliverability, you need to know click-through rates, etc. So Here's what I'm doing on a daily basis. I know how many people I need to connect with each day. From knowing that number, I know I'm going to get a certain number of responses to my what I call the break the ice message as my initial contact. Sorry. From there, I know that a number or a certain percent of these people will buy something from me today or in the near future. So basically, I'm looking to put out 3 links a day, 90 links a month, which yields to me on the low end about 3 sales or 3% conversion rate. But I'm also aware that a larger percent of the people I'm connecting with, I realize this is not the right time or the right offer. Now, this does not mean they are lost, but having a good following up or follow up process, I'm going to keep them in the loop or at least my name in front of them so that they may purchase from me at some time in the future. So, to summarize what I basically have said, at the minimum, you need to know how many people you need to reach out to. This leads to having a certain number of responses. Of these responses, a number will be suited for the offer and a certain number will be ready to purchase, at that day. So once you have these numbers and this becomes your main focus, your priority, and not doing non-productive activities such as scrolling through your personal Facebook feed, wasting time, you're achieving your goals. Your goals become more realistic because you have a point of reference. You now know whether or not you're going to hit your monthly goals just by reviewing your stats. If you aren't hitting your numbers, you can at least correct these issues early on. So at the end of the month, you are not wondering to yourself what happened, stressing out because you're not up to speed. You're trying to make up a month's worth of work in just a few days. So overall, what I've gone over is part of what I consider the step 4 of the sales process and what is the 4 core areas of running a successful online business. So in the future or in subsequent videos, I'm going to go into greater detail about these 4 core areas. And as I mentioned over and over, the biggest struggle plaguing affiliate marketers is that ability to convert traffic into sales. So I'm going to see you on the next video.